7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. It is a Dynamite Wednesday here on WWT Live. This is your PR princess, your timeless elite, Stone Cold Courtney, whatever you want to call me on this Wednesday edition, because of course, as I said at the top of the hour, we have AEW Dynamite, but we're still continuing the road to WrestleMania, and we have a lot of news catching up on this Wednesday, but thankfully, I am not alone, and it's always good to have the ladies edition of WWT. I'm excited that she's back here. She has been doing it for probably close to almost 2 weeks, but she has been going into the team very well. I'm very happy to have Miss Hope in the building.
Hi, happy Dynamite Wednesday. Great to be back. Lots of wrestling talk to cover. Yes.
So much. How has your Wednesday been?
Dynamite.
See?
Literally. For all the right reasons, though. And hopefully yours has been too.
Yes, I think everybody's Wednesday is definitely shout out to Jordan from Canada. Yes, it will be Dynamite. We'll be previewing Dynamite shortly. But before we get into Dynamite, we do have some breaking news regarding TNA, because Monday we found out they had a partnership with iHeartRadio. And today, another announcement that happened for TNA. TNA Wrestling and Eurosport India announced multi-year exclusive programming agreement. Just kind of going into things, they released a press release on TNA's official website. Anthem Sports Entertainment, a global multi-platinum media company, announced today that TNA Wrestling and Warner Brothers Discovery's premium sports channel, Eurosport India, have entered into a new multi-year exclusive programming agreement. The new continued deal is set to begin in July 2027, bringing hundreds of hours of TNA's first-run original content to Eurosport's passionate audience across India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, pretty much Afghanistan, all over in the Middle East. And the agreement is pretty much under TNA's first-run programming under a single exclusive partnership with Eurosport India, ensuring fans across the region can continue to enjoy a host of acclaimed and exclusive offerings from the groundbreaking pro wrestling promotion. Obviously, of course, TNA Thursday Night Impact, and also viewers will also have access to TNA Plus Present specials, also annual pay-per-view events such as House of Glory, Slammiversary, Sacrifice, along with many others. But this is a big deal within TNA. And Hope, I just wanted to get your quick thoughts on this, because Monday we did see TNA and iHeartRadio have this collaboration, and now we have this announcement, and TNA is starting to make some waves a bit.
Yay! Kudos to them. Congrats. Long overdue. I've been following TNA since they were on CMT many moons ago with LAX. So love TNA. Happy for them. Well done. And I'm a huge advocate of spreading wrestling to as many homes as possible around the world. So congrats to them. Well done.
Yeah, TNA has definitely been a lot, and I'm very happy they are doing work. And it's funny you mentioned that, because I remember TNA when they were on Comcast Sportsnet many moons ago. That was when it was the Impact Zone, and then they had the six-sided ring and everything else. And it's just so nice to see TNA come a long way. Yes, they did have some hurdles and bumps in between, but they're still thriving. And also with this deal with AMC, it's starting to pick up a little bit, because ever since they've been on AMC, they're getting these opportunities left and right, because obviously, of course, WWE is the juggernaut. And we were kind of talking about this, myself and TK, about this, because we were concerned if there was going to be a lot of opportunities for other companies such as TNA, AEW, along with many others. But I'm very happy that there is a lot more opportunity for other wrestling promotions to do. And there are a lot of brands, there are a lot of opportunities, and plus it's a good exposure.
Absolutely. And it's also it's a win for fans around the world. And that's what's so important here that's often overlooked. And yes, I mean, obviously, WWE is WWE, but kudos to TNA and with their ties with WWE. So yeah, this is just March and
Mhm.
they're having these multiple announcements. I'm genuinely excited for them and wish them the best. Absolutely, another avenue for wrestlers to go to as well. You know, I'm happy. Good for y'all.
I know. Congratulations to TNA. This has just been a busy, busy week for them, and we do wish the best and successful luck of them. Obviously, of course, you can check them out on every Thursdays on AMC, and next Friday is TNA Sacrifice in New Orleans. So, of course, we'll be doing bold predictions for that for next week. But
Yay.
switching from, because we were talking about WWE, we were talking about Night of Champions because there has been a little bit of buzz. Brandon Thurston of Post Wrestling made an exclusive report saying Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia has been penciled internally for WWE on June 27th. But however, there has been a lot of questions regarding what's been happening right now in the world, especially with the war in Iran. WWE and Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority did not respond to questions from us, but about whether they are considering rescheduling or canceling the event due to the ongoing war. And pretty much Formula One, which actually is in partnership with WWE on Monday, they announced on Saturday the cancellation of its races scheduled in April in Saudi, though the WWE date is further in, but this is still a developing story. We don't know if it's official, but there has been a lot of concern. But I just want to get your quick thoughts on this because we know what's happening right now. And obviously, of course, we were talking about WrestleMania next year being in Saudi, but also another event that might be allegedly intact, Night of Champions.
Here's the thing. WWE's motto is the show must go on. Last year, I don't remember the pay-per-view, but last year there was a similar situation and a lot of people thought that they should cancel or reschedule or have it here in the States. It was another PLE. They decided to move forward. Everything, as far as we know, went off without a hitch, thankfully, because there was legitimate concern. I don't see them pulling out, especially with it being June. This is March, unless something major happens. I simply don't. That doesn't mean that I hope that they'll reconsider, but I do suspect that they are monitoring this. But their mantra, the show must go on. So we probably won't know until May or maybe even June itself before they make a decision. And even then, they literally have to see the missiles going over before they'll do anything. That's one thing about, they are faithful, they're loyal, the show must go on, and they will keep it as scheduled, provided that it's safe for everyone.
Yeah, that's been something. And last year it did happen at King and Queen of the Ring at Saudi because it was a war that happened and we weren't unsure. And also there were some wrestlers that did get stuck on the airlines, which was
They
also
did. They
yeah.
sure did. Wow.
It was very alarming, especially with the talent and also safety first. I know the show must go on, but the safety's first with the talent. You want to make sure they are safe, and everybody working in the back, whether they work in ring or backstage or anywhere else, safety is more important. I mean, we have seen this happen before. Obviously, of course, it's horrible what's happening in Iran right now, but maybe because this is a developing story happening, it's not penciled in yet, it's not set in stone, but it is something to really look at going forward, especially.
Absolutely.
And I think this is going to be something they're going to look at after WrestleMania, because I
You
know
already know.
WrestleMania, because it's like WrestleMania is like 6-7 weeks away. So I think maybe after WrestleMania, they could take a breather and just look like, okay, what's really happening? But
That is scary. WrestleMania, a month away, give or take. Wow.
it is, but this is going to be a developing story happening. Hopefully, we do get a lot more details soon regarding Night of Champions, because so far the confirmed PLEs we have for WWE outside of WrestleMania, we have Backlash, we have Clash in Italy, and then of course we have Money in the Bank happening later this year, and also SummerSlam too. So, but yes, Jordan, we have to give well thoughts. And since this is Women's Wrestling Talk and in March is Women's History Month, I mean, Jacqueline, I kind of had to do it. And this was a very interesting story that I had to bring up because she is a friend of Women's Wrestling Talk, and she's interviewed one of our co-hosts before in the past, and also with TK. Jacqueline said she was a wrestler first and had no interest in bikini contests during the Attitude Era, but went along with the entertainment side of the product because the fans loved it, adding that she spent 30 years in the business without even suffering a serious injury. She was speaking in an interview on the Going Ringside podcast at River City Wrestling Con. Jacqueline discussed her time in the WWF during the late 1990s, her feud with Sable, and her role as one of the few women on the roster who could legitimately wrestle at a time when most of the female performers on television were valets and managers and trained in-ring competitors. She kind of goes in to say there wasn't a lot of women back then wrestling, but we were out there for the fans putting on good shows, and we worked really hard to put on good shows. It was very special back then. A lot of people said they enjoyed the Attitude Era. That's where I was in, and it was just a lot of fun back then. And then she kind of goes into details regarding the bikini contest. She said, I'm a wrestler. I was trying to wrestle, not do bikini contests. I mean, I look great. A lot of people told me I look great, so I was very happy about that. But everybody loves Sable. She was a fan favorite. She's a big baby face, so yeah, it was fun. And then also the feud with her and Sable during that bikini contest, she did have nothing but praise for Sable. She was a fan favorite. Everybody loves her. It was great working against her. She was very beautiful. She was very talented. She was a great wrestler. She was tall, and she did really good in the ring. But kind of going forward in the story where she talked about that, and also she talked about Chavo Guerrero. So I thought it was a very interesting story to feature, and especially seeing the evolution of women's wrestling from even like way before the Attitude Era, just seeing it evolve, and now kind of seeing women take the forefront.
This is interesting because Jackie is a friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine. She granted me the interview that allowed me to break the story of her Legends deal. And it's something that I'm proud of professionally, and that she trusted me with that. With that being said, talk about your unsung heroes. Even though she's in the Hall of Fame, even though she has a Legends contract, you know, she is still, Jazz, and others who look like them are still underrated, or perhaps aren't given the praise that they should be given. Jackie was a wrestler's wrestler, still is, can still go, by the way. She still looks great. Why? I mean, as of this moment, WWE hasn't approached her about a WrestleMania appearance, which is appalling to me. Being a legend, you know, they're going to have the whole Wrestle World fan event type thing going on. My hope is that they'll eventually reach out to her. But something that fans may not know, and I don't even know if Vince McMahon is aware. Believe it or not, Jackie has never actually wrestled at WrestleMania. Believe it or not. As crazy as that may sound, she's been around the signings, photo ops, things of that nature, but she never actually had a match at Mania, you know, and it would be interesting to see what happens, even if she didn't want to get back in the ring, even though the thing can still go. I tell everybody things that don't, you know, but I would love to see her utilize more the same way that they bring back Trish Stratus. I would love them to do the same with Jackie. How awesome would it be if she came in as Jade's manager? You
Oh
know,
my
how
God.
awesome would that be? You know, the money they could make behind that is insane, because Jackie has a following, Jade has a following, you know, something to consider. You know, again, someone who's done it all, who's been she was in WCW, she was in TNA, she was in World Class, she's been in the territory, she's done her thing, if you will. But it's not the same way that Trish looks great, and she does. Not mad at Trish Stratus at all. But WWE, we can do better by Jackie. And I say that with love and respect.
Yeah, I will say that too. Even though I started watching wrestling in the ruthless aggression era outside of Trish, Jackie was one of the first people that I saw, because when Trish was feuding with Victoria, her along with Jazz, because Jazz actually made a comeback after she got injured to
Right.
her tore ACL. So I was very happy to see Jackie go with like Trish and Victoria, and even like Lita at that time before she had her neck surgery, and even Ivory too, because all those
Yes.
girls could go, because that's what the era I grew up, because they were starting to transition a bit getting into wrestling. But
Mhm.
also a fact too, Jackie's never wrestled. But I was happy Jazz got to wrestle at WrestleMania
She did.
twice. So that
I'm
was
happy
a
for
good
her.
thing. But
Absolutely.
Jackie,
Absolutely.
I didn't realize that Jackie never wrestled at a
Mhm.
WrestleMania, which was very hard to swallow, because it would have been nice to see her collide with not just Trish and Victoria, but also Jazz too. And especially with the fact the women's title was also on Monday Night Raw. And
Exactly.
also with the fact too, that's just something to think about. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing her be Jade's manager. I wouldn't even mind seeing her if she was Bianca's manager.
Absolutely. And poor Bianca, her that finger issue is real. At first I was like, I don't thought B, you have worked, milk it, boo, milk it. But it's legit amputation. It has been floating around. I hope that's just talk. Um, but my goodness. And that's another one though, you know, beautiful, still looks great. She can be Jade's manager. Jackie could be Jade. Why aren't we utilizing Bianca? She still has a following there. Okay, she can't wrestle, but she can speak. Her
Mm-hmm.
presence can be felt. She can be an ambassador. There are still little girls who are braiding their hair and will flip it in a minute and do the dance and everything else. She's missed.
Mm-hmm.
Utilize her. I know she wants to be utilized more, even in spite of the injury, which I hope and pray she'll recover. But it does seem like it's going to be way longer than expected. Just wow. I really hope she recovers soon.
I think so too. And even with them, right now, hopefully after Naomi has the baby, depending on her, she'll be back soon as well. So hopefully we do. But yeah, I would love to see Jackie get utilized a lot more, because you see everybody making appearances. I mean, when I saw Ivory in the stands
Yes.
making an appearance at Evolution, I was like, oh my God, that's Ivory.
I mean, Ivory, you know, there are so many ladies. Again, another one. I remember Ivory when she was in Glow. Literally when she was in Glow. This was before, I know, under David McLean's promotion, and it was just amazing to see her transition from that era to this, or the era of WWF, WWE. And, you know, again, no shade on Trish. Bring back Trish. She looks great. Bring back Lita. She looks great. I'm glad that Jazz is at the Performance Center. She
Mhm.
was needed. I mean, and I want Jazz in the Hall of Fame as well. But yes, you gotta, Jackie's available. She will do it. She loves wrestling. She loves the fans, and the guys love her. They consider her one of the boys for a host of reasons that I'll share offline with you. But
Yes.
the stories I can tell.
Yes. Yes, that's why TK created Women's Wrestling Talk, and we have the
Mhm.
Women's Wrestling Archive because we get to celebrate all women of professional wrestling. Doesn't matter what promotion you're at, doesn't matter what level, even the women that do the broadcasting, they do the interviews. We celebrate all of them. But
Absolutely.
yes, so that's why she is our friend at Women's Wrestling Talk. Also, just a little bit of injury news because you did talk about Bianca's injury. Another person that got injured, Santos Escobar. We have seen him make his return at AAA. We have seen him do that, but apparently the weekend he actually suffered a serious injury that Fightful reported. So apparently there's been a situation on that, and we don't know the timeline of it. And also going into it. So pretty much he participated in the Rey de Reyes tournament final against El Grande Americano. I don't know which one, but it's El Grande. But unfortunately, it caused Escobar to lose the team, and also it's been an ongoing feud. But surgery is now scheduled, and that's supposed to be in the shelf. But it did came shortly after, but Fightful did report that. But this is an ongoing story. We don't know the time of return of Santos Escobar, but
Mm.
we here at Women's Wrestling Talk wish him a speedy recovery.
Absolutely. Another injury. WWE cannot afford, any, and AEW as well. I mean, the it goes back to the conversation we had, I believe, last week about Logan Paul. Now, part of it was obviously this, but there was some truth to what I believe management was saying. No unnecessary risk of injuries this close to Mania. And obviously we wish him a speedy recovery. I think, part of it I do question, and I'm glad that they appear to be bringing them back, are the live events, because with the live events they get to work together, they get to feel things out, whereas just doing TV or PLEs or pay-per-views, depending on which promotion, you can't feel each other out, and the risk, the you increase the chances of injury if you're not familiar with your working partner, because at the end of the
Mhm.
day they're dance partners at the end. And wow, I really do hate to hear that, but hopefully he will recover, and obviously likely won't make it back in time for WrestleMania, but hopefully for SummerSlam.
Yeah, I hope so too. And I think that's something we kind of did talk about regarding house shows because, and even Cody Rhodes was very openly about bringing back house shows. Because if you saw, like, during the holiday live shows, that was like one of the most highest rated, grossly attended shows that they had in a while. And it was so nice to just see them do the house shows where they get extra training in, especially if they're not on TV as much. They get opportunities to do house shows. And this is not just on WWE, this is on all wrestling promotions to make sure they don't suffer a lot of serious injuries. But it does suck when we hear stuff like with Santos and he has to go through it. We're already dealing with Bronson Reed and
Mm,
Braun Breaker. They're both on the shelf. And
mhm,
Zoe Stark, she's
mhm.
she's recovering from her injury, so we don't know when she's gonna come back. So yeah, it's one of those things, and the injury bug is not something to take very lightly.
And these are mega injuries. These aren't just injuries that have them out for a few weeks. These are taking them out for months and even a year or more, literally.
Yeah, that's something. But we here at Women's Wrestling Talk wish a speedy recovery to Santos Escobar. And since this is Wednesday and we did bring up AEW, it's time to preview AEW Dynamite at the top of the hour. Yours truly with Timeless Elite Wednesdays. We're continuing the aftermath of AEW Revolution and we're switching gears to AEW Dynasty. We have a no holds barred match. My lady, the woman that got me into AEW, Timeless Tony Storm, taking on Marina Shafir in a no holds barred match. Obviously, Ronda Rousey made a shockingly return. And don't be surprised if she does interfere to help out her BFF against the Timeless One. And we're also going to have this because it was announced during the press conference. Gabe Kidd challenged Darby Allin to a coffin match. These two
Ooh.
guys have been going at it for the last couple months. And It's going to be brutal. It's going to be nasty. And I'm sure Darby is going to bring it. If Darby can climb Mount Everest, he can do anything.
You
And
already know.
also we yes, and we also did see the return of Will Ospreay making his anticipated return, and he will be in action against the Swirl's Blake Christian one-on-one. All this and more happening at the top of the hour on Dynamite, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on TBS and simulcast on Max. And Hope, I just want to get a question from you. Is there something in particular that you're looking forward to on Dynamite tonight?
The ladies, of course. You know, I love Timeless Tony Storm. I love Marina. I'm like, we need a belt for Marina. I mean, she is fantastic. She's actually pretty in person, very attractive in person. Knew she was a longtime friend of Rhonda, was pleasantly surprised to see her make her debut. Of course, she's going to interfere tonight. The question is how, and can we expect Shayna Baszler? Because they're all three besties, contrary to what some may or may not believe. I believe she's still tied up in NXT training,
Yes.
but then, you know, things can happen. But yeah, needless to say, I'm excited about that. And I'm like, Courtney, where they're not ladies, obviously, but where's the Hurt Syndicate? You know, MVP and Shelton, they can still talk. I know Bobby is injured, but we hurt people. We hurt people.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the Hurt Syndicate because, you know, they're taking time off. You know, they're trying to get everything settled, but hopefully we do get to see them tonight because we did find out on Fightful that Shelton Benjamin made a deal with AEW along with MVP. So we will see them soon because I know they're missed. And also they are looking for a new member. Who it is, I don't know. I keep my fingers
How
on it.
awesome would it be if it were female?
That, you know, it's something somebody said that too, and it's like I would not have a problem if they added a female to the group. I would not be complaining about that.
Gotta be the right one though. Who
Yes.
could it be?
And also, I mean, of course, outside, you know, the ladies, of course, with my gal Tony Storm, but also I've been talking about a lot with Maria Shavir because John Moxley brought her in. John Moxley saw something in her that many people did. I watched her in Defy, and I believe she still is the reigning Defy Women's Champion. And also, I think she is because I don't see a title change anytime soon. But it's funny when she did that promo when she was the champ after her match. She said she won a competition. Well, you're getting competition with the multi-time AEW Women's Champion. But I'm happy she is growing, and especially with John too at her side. Like, you can't find anybody better than John Moxley to accompany that. Also, I'm excited to see Will Ospreay make his return. I know he still has issues with the Death Riders after what happened at Forbidden Door last year. Darby is going to be Darby. So I'm sure Darby, Orange Cassidy, and Roderick Strong, they're still going to have issues with the War Dogs. Obviously, of course, just trying to see what's going to happen since we're in the aftermath of Revolution. We're heading into Dynasty. We're heading into the Owen Hart Cup men and women's tournament. So it's going to be very curious on who is going to be in the tournament.
Exciting time for AEW. Kudos to Tony, to others on his management team. I'm as a fan, I love all wrestling. I'm not one of those who say, you know, if you jump ship, you're a traitor. No, that's nonsense. I love WWE. I love AEW. I love TNA. I love Ring of Honor. I'm learning more about the independents. So, you know, the more, the better. Kudos to the AEW team and AEW HR. Just saying, you got two fans who would not mind joining your team, and that's all I say.
And also, I'm going to say this, Tony Khan, you need to put the women in the main event because that's been something we've been talking about for a year.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep saying it, saying you need to put women in the main event.
It's
I mean,
true.
nothing against Mercedes, but there's been a lot of women that I think should be in the main event that's been there since day one. Nothing against her, but I'm just saying there's a lot of ladies in AEW,
Absolutely.
and I can think of many ladies that could main event. I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
But I'm still going to keep preaching on that because you need to have the women main event a pay-per-view. We've seen it on Dynamite. We've seen it on Collision. We've seen it on the specials for Grand Slam. I mean, come on, you're 7 years old. But I'm going to keep saying it. But that's all that and more for our Dynamite preview. Obviously, of course, you can hang with me at the top of the hour because we are going to be doing a watch along for AEW Dynamite. And also, if you're on a budget or everything else, Women's Wrestling Talk has the NordVPN. So you can watch it on there clear, crisp. You don't have to worry about additional fees or everything. So make sure to check out the NordVPN right here on the ticker. We've been doing this. We'll watch this. A few people from our WWE team has watched this, and it is wonderful. So make sure to watch on NordVPN, but that goes under Dynamite. And technically, this kind of falls into AEW Ring of Honor space because we did talk about Santos Escobar. We also talk about another person that is on the injury, our friend of Women's Wrestling Talk, Miss Layla Gray. We know a couple months ago she did tore her ACL when she had her match against Mercedes Moné, but she underwent successful knee surgery. She is officially on the mend as she undergo knee surgery. She posted this on her Instagram stories where she gave an update saying, "Hey guys, I finally had my knee surgery yesterday. Everything went well. I'm home recovering." And hold on, because I got too many pop-ups on this. Okay. You always hate it when you have too many pop-ups. You have too many pop-ups. But she goes on. She goes on to say, "Everything went well. I'm home recovering and starting therapy tomorrow. Thank you for all the support during this time." And as I mentioned, last December, she suffered a torn ACL during her match against Mercedes Moné in December. And she kind of really goes on to say about her recovery, saying today is January 19th. And I had my consultation with the surgeon. So it's been over a month since my injury. I finally got to see the surgeon today. And unfortunately, the feedback that I got was I still do not have complete range of motion in my leg. So I can't fully extend it. Still can't fully bend my knees. So because of that, I have to do more prehab, at least another month of prehab twice a week. And then after that, he said he should be able to operate. So it's going to be a long and lengthy journey to healing, but I'm staying positive. I'm staying optimistic, going to do what I have to do. And my plan is to just be better than ever before I left. So wish me luck, guys. I will continue to update you guys on my recovery, what is going on. But thank you guys for all the lovely messages that you guys have been sending me. Really appreciate all the support and all the love, and I will catch you guys soon. And she said this back in January.
Yeah, there is another unfortunate injury. And she's going to be out probably the remainder of the year. Those knee injuries are no joke. And that's provided that even if everything goes well, she doesn't re-injure herself in rehab, because that's what tends to extend the healing period. They're anxious to get back in, to get back on their feet, to get back to doing their regular routine, but they tend to do it too quickly ahead of schedule. But, obviously wishing her well, looking forward to seeing her back in the ring soon. But with anyone on the injury list, take care of yourself, take care of your body, because I want you walking without a limp before you even think about getting back in the ring. That's the real of it. You got to take care of yourself, of your health, of your body.
It really sucks because Layla Gray was somebody that was starting to really find herself at Ring of Honor, and especially teaming up with Christopher Daniels, Scorpio Sky, Top Flight, and now you add Zada Steel to the mix. That just would have been so cool to see her and Zada Steel be like a tag team in a way, which we're starting to see the women's tag team division grow a bit in AEW in the Ring of Honor space. But that's a tough injury to have. And I know she's going to be very fine. She's going to come back stronger than ever. I'm very looking forward to seeing what she does. And also make sure to check out the interview that she had with TK, because she had it a couple months ago here on Women's Wrestling Talk. But we do here wish her a speedy recovery. And I really want her to be at 100%. I just really want Skyflight to just take it to the next level, especially having Christopher Daniels in your corner. He's been doing this for years. I do see big things for them.
They'll be fine. I mean, it's hiccup, but I mean, look at Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte was out. She missed WrestleMania. She came back, and in some ways, she's in stronger form than she was prior. So yeah, she'll be fine.
I think
Wishing
she'll be fine, and she will be fine. And also another thing that will be fine, because March is Women's History Month, and we do have the Women's Wrestling Archive. This is a baby that our boss lady TK Trinidad created, and it's a good opportunity, especially because, like I said, it is Women's History Month. Let's support everything on celebrating women's wrestling from the past, the present, and the future of women's wrestling.
Women's wrestling didn't just show up yesterday in glitter boots. We've been here the entire time, body slamming through history.
The Women's Wrestling Archive launches 2026, and it's going to pave the way for all women's wrestling.
Because if we don't document it, a man might think he did it first.
This has been a passion project for a very long time. Head over to the womenswrestlingarchive.com to donate 1, 5, or whatever you can. It all goes a long way.
Let's give these women the spotlight that they've always deserved.
Her story belongs in history. Help us preserve it today. Join us at womenswrestlingarchive.com. Support the archive. Support women's wrestling. Donate today.
Support everything for the Women's Wrestling Archive. $1, $2, $3, $20, $100, $200. Any support that helps regarding women's wrestling, because not just we're celebrating on Women's History Month, we're celebrating all year round. Now for our next story, I want to give us time for this because this has just been buzzing since Revolution, because I know people are talking about Ronda Rousey, but there's another story that's been buzzing a lot. And it includes this guy right here, Ricochet. Yeah, just going up to speed for a little bit. Oh, okay. I'm gonna do this very well because Fightful's link isn't working. So I'm gonna reiterate this as the best way I can. So this happened after AEW Revolution, after he lost the AEW national title. And there was a tweet that was put out on Twitter where somebody actually tried to tweet at him after his loss and really make it out like a nah, boo-boo. But apparently he replied back not so great as well, especially referring to MS, which that really got up not just the IWC narcs, but pretty much almost everywhere on socials. Unfortunately, Samantha Irvin had to deactivate her Twitter account because she got sent death threats. So she had to deactivate that. And it's been an ongoing story. And there's just been a lot of buzz around it. And we just really need to talk about this because I don't think people realize MS is a disability. There should be a fine line for this. And I feel like disabilities, especially with the ongoing case, sexual abuse, there should be a fine line when it comes to this. And I don't think it should be tolerated for a person. And I could say this because I do have a chronic illness. I have type 2 diabetes, and that's something I take very, very seriously. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to start out my own business, to help out media training so we won't have to deal with stuff like this on socials. And also with that too, I do think it's really important because this is not a shot to AEW. This is a shot to everyone in wrestling. Doesn't matter if it's AEW, doesn't matter if it's WWE, doesn't matter if it's TNA, doesn't matter if it's independent. This should be something that should be taken seriously, and also not taking jokes regarding somebody's disability. And especially in the world that we're living now, there's just been so many people that have been saying derogatory things when it comes to not just disabilities, but also because of the sexual abuse that's happening right now. And we were talking about this last week with Pro Wrestling Eve, throwing it under the bus like it was nothing, but it's a big deal. And that's something that needs to be said and done, because this is something that should not be taken lightly at all.
You know, Everything that you just said is true. Um, we have to remember. I mean, first of all, let's give him credit because he corrected it right away. Many would not have done that. They would have just said, "I'm in heel mode. Take it. If you don't like it, just turn the dial or whatever." So I give him credit for that. It's very unfortunate what was said, but it's also unfortunate that his wife was getting death threats behind this, to the
Mhm.
point where she had to cancel out her one of her social media accounts. That's uncalled for. And you have to ask, and I don't like going here, but it's something else that's not always addressed. You know, their disabilities, their sexual harassment, but racism is still real. And the other piece in this is, would this be such a hot issue if he weren't BLACK? If it were someone else who put this out, would it have gotten as much heat as this? Maybe it would have, maybe it wouldn't have. But at the end of the day, again, it goes back to media having that PR person, that public information person, whatever you want to refer to them as, to maybe train up some folks on what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, what can get you in trouble, what could ultimately cost you your job over something that was hurtful, and they probably, didn't mean it. I can remember many moons ago, Jim Ross Jr. was saying something about a wooden leg when my grandmother was in at the kitchen table and she just had her leg amputated. And even though I know he didn't mean any harm, the context that he was using it in, I still remember how she looked up in the pit that I had in my stomach, hearing that, to the point. I mean, and at the time, social media was not as big. I think we still had MySpace, if that was even out at the time. But my point is that we're in a society now where there are just way too many of these. And you've got to be careful. Um, Hopefully, again, I give him credit. I don't think he meant any harm. He was, whatever he was going through, maybe he was still on the rush from the match, what happened there. I give him kudos for apologizing. You know, it'll be interesting to see how AEW management leadership will handle this. It could be a suspension. It could be a slap on the wrist. Um, but I think apologizing went or should have gone a long way, especially, at least since to my knowledge, this is his first time and he's human. We make mistakes. He owned up to it. Um, we'll see.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see how it is long term because yes, you did apologize, but also you have to think of long term how this is gonna help because it's not gonna happen overnight just like that. I mean, if you were able to make amends with a local multiple sclerosis, because that was what you said in the tweet, then I would be okay with it. But just do it organically. Like don't do it just because somebody told you have to do this. Like do it something organically. But this is going to be something that does have to be addressed. I know there are some wrestlers that have their own PR team, but it's always hard because you have a small team of 3, 4, 5 people, and then you have a million talent people. That's very hard to do. So I think that's something to really reconsider. And also with the fact too, he did do apologize, but also even with these dirt sheets as well. Yeah, I'm going to call them the dirt sheets because sometimes it can be misleading and sometimes they'll throw things under the rug and all that stuff, but you got to do better, especially when it comes to media literacy 101. So I don't know what AEW is going to do, hopefully they do something behind closed doors moving forward and think of a plan and
Well, we'll see tonight.
just
I
move
mean,
forward because
it'll definitely start tonight
we
if there are repercussions, which it's gosh, I wish sometimes we would all just stop and think before we say something. Cause how old is Ricochet?
has
Seriously,
to
how
be
old is
he has to be like close to my age. That's what I would think. He
okay,
has
so
to be close. I'm gonna look that up really quick. Oh,
because
37.
oh, he's 37.
Yeah.
Oh, he's old enough to know better then. I was trying to give him trying to
You
give
would
him
think?
I'm trying to help you. But we do better when we know better. And obviously there's been an outcry. The question is, has there been a big enough outcry for AEW to take action? And if so, what will that action be? Because at the end of the day, Tony and this is Triple H, WWE, the promoters can love their talent all day long, but at the end of the day, it's a business. And if enough fans retaliate, hopefully it won't come to that because Ricochet has just hit his stride, in my opinion, coming to AEW. It would be a shame if something like this um, turned things around for him in not the best of ways. But
And
actions have consequences. So we'll
and
see.
and also when you lose revenue, that could also be something of a factor.
That part.
That part. I had to remind people as a business, but also money. At the end of the day, it's always about money.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's gonna be very interesting on how this is gonna play out for AEW Dynamite. But we wanted to end things on a high note for Wednesday's edition of WWT because the newest tag team for AEW, the Inspiration, they will be set to wrestle for the Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling Princess Tag Team Championship later this month. They're having the opportunity to wrestle in Japan against the reigning tag team champions, and this is just really a good opportunity for them. I know people are complaining about their squash match against the Bronx Birds and all this stuff, but they were just signed to AEW. Just give them time to build, but it's a good opportunity. They're wrestling overseas.
They'll always be the Iconics to me. Kudos to them. Well deserved. Another girl group tag team that I didn't think should have left, but again, greener pastures. Kudos to them, and they'll do well. Whether or not they walk away with the championship, either way, they're winners.
They are iconic. I just had to do that. They are. Kudos to them. And I know people are kind of whining, but give them time. They were just signed with AEW. Let them build up and see what they need to do. And plus, they'll maybe in the feud with the Brawling Birds. I mean, it does give them some build. It does give them some credibility, but let them keep slowly building. I don't want them rushed up to the top and then get swatched for nothing. Just let them continue to build. Let them get them reps. It's a great opportunity since they're wrestling in Japan. So
It is. Anytime, and that's one of the things that I'm learning more as I'm on my writing journey. Japan, because I had heard of Japan, wrestling, even when I originally come in, but I was just like, oh, that's the Orient, that's whatever. I mean, it's WWF, AWA, the territories that were around at the time. These are the real promotions. That's just, backup or whatever. It's like, no, it's not. There are quite a few top key people. When you make it to Japan, for some, that's their WrestleMania. That's their WWE moment, even whether they've been at WWE or not. Wrestling in Japan really makes them legitimate, in my opinion.
yeah, I think it does give a wrestling in Japan because I am definitely learning a lot about like New Japan Stardom and all the other promotions out there, and also learning about the UK wrestling, even though there's a lot of skeletons in the closet. But it's nice to see UK wrestling alive and well. So learning about the different cultures and everything, it's always a great opportunity. But
And
so
with
happy.
AAA and the Mexican, we've
Mhm.
heard about the various promotions, and I credit WWE with gaining AAA to help put spotlight on that, and Mercedes Monet with the
Mhm.
multiple belts that are ticking away, but that's okay because we all know what that is ultimately going to lead to. Um,
She's gonna win the AEW
oh
women's title.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
she's gonna get it. She's
Oh
gonna
my
get it.
gosh. Yes, she is. The question is, who is she going to take it off of? That's the question. But, with that being said, she helped. I think she's done her job and is doing her job of shedding light on women's pro wrestling throughout the world. Promotions that we never would have even heard of. I would love to pull her aside and ask her how she traveled with those belts, or did they stay at AEW? Can you imagine going through TSA with all
We were
those belts?
TK and I were talking about that too, with like, how is she gonna get through TSA with all those belts? We were just saying that as well. We were we were just saying that because I'm like, huh, what? But she is, because she actually visited a wrestling school while she was defending her title. So that's a good thing too. And I do love after the match that she does support women's wrestling. So that makes me happy to see. As long as she's supporting it outside the ring, I am okay. As long as she's supporting it, she's doing it, I am okay with it. But yeah, she's gonna have to get the AEW women's title. And I guess Tony has to give her a victory. I
But is it
guess.
going to be Tony, or could it be Rhonda at that point, or Marina? I mean, or even Queen Amanada when she comes back from her injury. I mean, there are a number of folks who could be champion at the time. Now, don't get me wrong, because I see the look. I love the timeless one as well. She is awesome to see
It's
in
not
person.
it's not Tony. I'm just more concerned because when you brought up Ronda, I said if you give Ronda the
Wouldn't
first
that be
ever
a
women's
fight?
match on the pay-per-view, I'm gonna be very pissed off. I'm gonna be very upset. And this is nothing against Ronda. It's just like you have, well, we'll talk more about this on my watch along, because there's so many other women I could like do a storyline similar what you did to Tony Storm, Mariah May, that have been there since day one. But I'll talk more about that on my watch along, because like I don't want to go too much out the deep end. But yes, it's gonna be interesting because Tekla has been on a roll. She's had the Toxic Spider, but like I said, Owen Hart Cup men and women's tournament are gonna start soon. It's gonna be very curious on who's gonna be in that tournament. But that's all the stories I have for women's wrestling talk on a Wednesday. But hope, is there anything that I missed or you want to talk about, as Cody Rhodes would say?
It is not involving women, but and you all may have spoken about it in a previous, but just the whole Randy Cody thing ending on SmackDown. It was like, and then who he was on the phone with. I mean, there are just so many possibilities, and that if they played this right, it could keep people tuned in. It may get people to go, because I'm in agreement with Honey that it may not be who you think it is.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. There's a lot of Easter eggs that's
Mhm.
gonna happen between now and Vegas. So we shall see on that. And also,
A
it was one of
lot of
like,
people got a brain. A whole lot of people they got history with Dust. A whole lot of people got history with Cody. So it may be closer to home than people would think.
yes, and we're gonna get a lot more of that because we'll talk more about that on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. But that wraps up Wednesday's edition of WWT. We covered everything that we did. And Hope, where can the people find you?
You can find me on all of the social channels, including Pro Wrestling Posts under Hope, or Hope, also known as Honey's Baby. Follow me, and I will be sure to follow you.
The people can always find me chirping. Well, they can find me top of the hour because I will be handling the watch along for AEW Dynamite because we are going through the aftermath of AEW Revolution and we're getting set for AEW Dynasty happening next month in Canada. So you do want to miss 2 hours because you don't need to watch AEW Dynamite alone because you can spend it with me and we're going to go over the play-by-play action and who knows what other chaos that's going to happen there. You can also follow me on my socials on @CourtneyNJ11 because I do have a lot of content happening. It's not all wrestling. It's PR related. It's pageant related. It's everything I do outside of everything else, but lots of content that will be happening soon in the coming weeks. And I'm just getting started. Also, with the fact too, if any wrestler needs media training, please let me know. Don't do what Ricochet, and this is nothing against, this is not a knock on Ricochet, but if there's any wrestler that needs media training, I am happy to provide media training for you. I am very happy and give you the tools that you need as well. But also make sure to follow ISPW Wrestling. Shout out to Tommy Fiera and the rest of the team because ISPW has a lot of events happening in the coming weeks with spring and summer. You do not want to miss. Also, shout out to everybody in the WWT team for doing great. Shout outs to our boss lady, TK, and Will for answering questions at the media scrum. I did see the clip on there. So shout out to him for giving very thoughtful questions. Super thoughtful questions.
Yes.
But shout out to that. Also, want to shout out to everybody in the chat. Jordan from Canada, Boza, Lewis Johnson, Lynette. Also, a shout out to our producer from the future, Dylan, cousin Ron, that in the chat. All of you for supporting Women's Wrestling Talk. And since March is Women's History Month, we want to thank you all for just supporting that. And yeah, thank you for supporting Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. And we'll see you back here on Friday.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.